Boom. Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to my podcast. It's my second official podcast. I'm so excited. Thank you all for liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. So, today we have a lot to get into, guys. I prepared a lot of notes for y'all, and I'm coming in every single week with stuff prepared for y'all, entertaining news, stories for y'all, entertaining breaking news, entertaining trade rumors, entertaining everything, guys. I come in prepared every day. So today we will be discussing the NBA playoffs, particularly the Rockets and the Warriors, a little bit of Lakers and Timberwolves, and some transfer portal news with Kentucky, and some other miscellaneous sports narratives. So I want to start my show with this. The Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors are facing off Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. on TNT. Now, obviously, that's a kind of a late slate, but it is what it is. So I've been thinking about this, and the Rockets are the exact opposite of the Warriors. The Rockets are young. The Rockets are athletic. They're long, tall, and the Rockets are a great rebounding team. In fact, they're the best rebounding team in the whole league, particularly on the offensive glass. The Rockets really get after it. And that's something that could be interesting down the series because Golden State is not very big, not very long. And it's going to be interesting to see the Rockets with their length. It could pose some problems for the Golden State Warriors. We saw Zach Edey in the play-in game give the Warriors hell. I mean, Zach Edey looked almost like an all-star against the Warriors in the play-in game. So keep an eye out for the Rockets really getting on the glass this series, really extending possessions due to their length, and simultaneously giving the Warriors a bit of problems. Um, with their length and athleticism. Now, we all know how great Curry is. However, Amin Thompson is an up and coming star in this league. And Amin is very versatile. He's very athletic. He's very gifted. And he's going to be deemed responsible for guarding Steph Curry this series. So that's going to be an interesting matchup with Thompson and on Curry because Amin is a lockdown defender. Not saying that he's going to slow down Curry at all, but Amin certainly is capable of limiting some of Curry's looks. Now, it's also worth mentioning that the Warriors are very reliant on Curry hitting threes and Butler for that matter too. The two, Butler and Curry, combined for 75 points in their playing game versus the Grizzlies in their playing game. 75 points. Now, another good thing about the Rockets is they are one of the best teams in the league when it comes to defending the three-point line. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. Like I said, the Warriors are very reliant upon Curry and Butler to get going from outside. In fact, if Curry hadn't hit two threes down the stretch in their playing game versus the Grizzlies would have won that game. So the Rockets' ability to rebound, their athleticism, their ability to defend the three-point line is going to be something to watch closely as the series progresses. Now, this is only the second time in 30 years, I believe, that a seven seed, the Golden State Warriors, are favored over a two seed in the Houston Rockets. So the Rockets are coming in as a bit of an underdog, minus 200, 2-1 odds. The odds makers have the Warriors winning, and the odds makers don't seem to be trusting the Rockets very much. They don't trust their ability to put the ball in the basket. So the Rockets are the underdogs, and that may play a factor in this series. We're going to see an inspired Rockets team who play hard. They want to play well for their head coach, Ime Udoka, who's a defensive-minded coach. He's a pretty good coach. And the Rockets are coming in as underdogs, so it's going to be very um, interesting to see how that works, being an underdog as a 2 seed. So Jonathan Kaminga on the Warriors, he did not play very much in their play-in game against the Grizzlies. But it's worth mentioning that Kaminga in the games against the Rockets this year has averaged the most points against Houston. He has averaged 21.3 points per game, I believe, against the Rockets this year. So it's going to take more than Curry and Butler to get going against Houston if they want a chance to beat the Rockets. We all know playoff Jimmy. Playoff Jimmy is sensational. He took a Miami Heat team that did not have a very overpowering roster to the championship 2 years, 2 seasons. And playoff Jimmy is very electric, very dynamic. He's just flips a switch when it comes to playoff time, and it's very impressive. So that's going to be a focus point for the Rockets, trying to limit Butler's touches, trying to limit the amount of shots he gets off. Because if he and Curry get going, it's going to be a serious problem for the Rockets. So a lot of people have the Warriors winning this one, but I don't quite see it going that way. In fact, I think that the Rockets will win in 6 or 7 games this series. I believe that in a close game, if the game comes down to the last few shots, the last few minutes, then that favors the Warriors. The Warriors have the experience, they have the better coach, and they have the best 2 players and the best defender in Draymond Green on the court at any given time. So they have a lot working in their favor. So in a close game, the Warriors' ability to manipulate the refs, manipulate the shot clock, manipulate possessions, and their analytical clutch numbers are very, very impressive. Whereas the Rockets, I could see them kind of blowing the Warriors out. Like if any team is going to blow anyone out, I feel like the Rockets have that tendency to go on a huge run and blow the Warriors out. So my prediction is Rockets in 6 or 7. The Rockets are going to blow the Warriors out in a few games, but there will be some close ones that the Warriors will win. So I predict the Rockets in 6 or 7. Stephen A. Smith on First Take the other day, he is very high on the Rockets right now. He says, and Ime Udoka, he says that in the next 3 to 4 years, he believes that the Rockets will bring home the Larry O'Brien Trophy and win an NBA Finals. He's very high on Amen Thompson, who, like I said, will be in charge of guarding Steph Curry. And he also is high on Jalen Green as well. Stephen A. Smith wants to see what Jalen Green brings to this series. Both of these guys are rising stars in our league, and it's going to be interesting to see what Jalen Green does for the Rockets in this series. If the Rockets, now, whoever wins this series is going to face the winner of Minnesota. Minnesota and the Lakers, Timberwolves and the Lakers. And that's a very intriguing series as well. I particularly think the Lakers will win that series against the Timberwolves. I think the trio of Reeves and Luka and LeBron is too much for Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle, good players in the regular season, but a little limited when it comes to the playoffs. Playoffs are just a different animal. I believe Anthony Edwards will have a few 40-point performances, though, in this series. The Timberwolves will win a few games. I don't think the Lakers will sweep them by any means. But, yeah, I have the Lakers winning this one, which sets up a Lakers-Rockets second round, which is very intriguing. Now, I must say there is a part of me that would like to see a Lakers-Warriors second round. That's very sexy, right? You have Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler going against LeBron, and every time it seems that LeBron and Curry go against one another, it just makes for great basketball, great television. So the Houstonian in me wants the Rockets to advance, of course, which I think they will. And it would be nice to see the Rockets beat Curry in the playoffs. I believe Steph Curry is undefeated against the Rockets in the postseason. He's 4-0. We all remember that year when the Rockets were up 3-2 and we missed all those threes in a row. I think it was 20 something threes, and we let the Warriors come back and win the series. I believe the Rockets would have won the finals that year had Chris Paul not gone down. But, anyways, that's neither here nor there. So it would be nice to see the Rockets finally avenge the Warriors after all the years past where the Warriors have just beat us time in and time out. So, but I'm kind of rooting for a Lakers Warriors second round because the Warriors gave the Lakers problems this year. The way they play gives the Warriors a bit of problems, and I think if we see a Warriors Lakers game 6, game 7, that's gonna make for some great highlights, some great basketball. So it's kind of a win-win for me. Obviously, I'm pulling for the Rockets, but I wouldn't mind seeing that second round matchup as well. Now, as far as the rest of the Western Conference, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder, who just broke an NBA record this year, the largest point margin. They won by an average of 12.4 points, folks, which is the highest point differential in NBA history. So, in other words, the Thunder just ran through teams this year, particularly in the Western Conference. I mean, they just ran through teams. Um, Now, with that being said, they're also the youngest team. If they were to win the NBA Finals this year, they would be the youngest team to ever win. And obviously, I love Shea. I spoke about him briefly on my first episode, him in his days at Kentucky. Really nice to see him come into such a beautiful player. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Thunder come out of the West. They are the number 1 seed. But I would be shocked if they just completely blow through the West. Like they just sweep everybody, barely lose a game or two. I'd be shocked if they just, nonchalantly make their way to the finals. I think they'll come out of the West. I think it'll be Thunder, Lakers probably um, if I had to guess. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. But yeah, I think it would be very surprising if the Thunder just blow through everybody like they did in the regular season. Because this team's only been together for a year, guys. The Thunder have. They won one playoff series last year, I believe. And yeah, but they're still a great team, and they certainly are capable of making a finals and winning the finals. I just don't think they're gonna go through the West like they did so easily in the regular season. Now you have the Nuggets too, and the Nuggets are playing the Clippers. So that's an interesting series because you have now the emergence of Kawhi Leonard being healthy again. And when Kawhi Leonard is healthy, guys, I mean, there's not many players that are better than him. I mean, his ability to get to his spots in the mid range and to pull up and to knock down shots, and also his capabilities on the defensive end, too, are very, very good. I mean, he's able to play both sides of the ball very effectively. And James Harden, I'm from Houston. Everyone remembers James Harden, his tear in Houston when he was just putting up 40 balls every night. But he's yet to really do it on the big stage in the playoffs. So I'd like to see Harden and Kawhi get going a little bit, right? I'd like to see them. I definitely think they'll win a few games against the Nuggets for sure. It's going to be a 5-6 game series in my eyes. But at the end of the day, Nikola Jokic, guys, best player arguably in the league, him or Shea, MVP front runners. He's the best player, Jokic. So I think the Nuggets are going to win and advance to the second round and play the Thunder, but I think the Clippers could potentially slow down Jokic a little bit with Zubac. You know, Zubac is he's a big presence down there in the paint. Jokic is not going to be able to just post him up and do whatever he wants on Zubac. Zubac is a physical presence, so they're going to be battling down there for sure. Um, I just question um, Harden. Obviously, in the playoffs, he's time year after year just not really delivered in the playoffs. So yeah, but hopefully, because I'm a James Harden fan, I love his game, particularly on the offensive end. He gets going, man. He's fun to watch. So it's gonna make for a good series. And then you have I have the Nuggets facing the Thunder in the second round. And I think, last year the Nuggets beat the Thunder, I believe. But I think this year, particularly after the Nuggets just fired their head coach, Michael Malone, you know, now it's kind of like a substitute teacher, not as good as the regular teacher. So the Nuggets probably aren't as inspired this year as they were in 2023. I thought the Nuggets were really going to be kind of like a dynasty. I mean, when they won in 2023 and with Jokic and Murray, they looked so good. And I'm a bit surprised at such a sudden uh, regression from the Nuggets, quite frankly. Um, but I think they'll still put up a good fight against Thunder, win a few games, make it interesting. But ultimately, I do have the Thunder advancing to the Western Conference Finals. And then, I mean, Luca and LeBron guys and Reeves, you can't deny them. Because with the addition of Luca, it makes LeBron's life so much easier. I mean, so much easier. One could say that LeBron could afford to play quite a few more years with Luca because Luca's taken so much stress off of LeBron, you know? And who's to say that the Lakers can't advance and go to the finals? And if Luca averages 36 points, guys, give or take, in the NBA finals, he's going to be the next face of the league. This is something I've been thinking about and I want to talk about on the show is everyone's always debating about, conversating about who's the face of the NBA or who's the upcoming face of the NBA. Some people said it was Anthony Edwards. Some people said it was Jason Tatum. So there's always been this reoccurring conversation being had. With Tatum, he doesn't really captivate people like Anthony Edwards does. Obviously, Edwards has the personality. The way he plays is very electric. Tatum kind of lacks certain things like that, where he's not as uh, he doesn't resonate with people as well. But here comes a Luca who's in his prime, and he's got personality. He's got an edge to him. He's European, which is interesting, being the face of the league, because we've never had really a European face of the league. But now in the current NBA, there's a lot of European guys, Jokic, Giannis, Luca. These European guys are starting to kind of become the face of the league. And it's really interesting to see. But I think if Luca goes on in the finals and if they win or lose, if he averages 30, 35 in the finals, he's going to be the face of the league. And it definitely helps that he's with the glamorous franchise, the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, that's the most glamorous franchise there is. So that certainly helps. But mark my words, if the Lakers go on a run here, Luka's going to be the next phase of the league because Luka is European, yet he has American tendencies. He's got that edge to him. He barks at officials. He chirps at fans. I mean, he gets into it. He has a personality, and people like that. He's polarizing. Luka is very polarizing in a way to make him appealing to fans. Fans want that. They want to see that bickering with the officials. They want to see him going at it with fans. Americans love that. And so that's kind of unusual for a European. So that's certainly something to think about heading into these playoffs. Um, So another story that emerged over the past few days is the Dallas Mavericks general manager, Nico Harrison. Obviously, everyone knows about the trade where they gave up Luka Doncic in return for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is 6 years older than Luka and kind of on his way out, past his prime, whereas Luka is in his prime. So I'm going to read the quote well, let me give you some context first. So Nico Harrison held a press conference, finally, 2.5 months following the trade. 2.5 months, guys. He's just now talking about this disastrous trade. So he's conducting this press conference, but he tells the media, don't bring any cameras or recording devices. What? After 2.5 months, this is what he tells the media? Don't bring any recording devices? I mean, if you're going to make a move like that where you trade Luka, you're going to have to stand up for that trade. And it's also crazy that Nico said no regrets too after trading Luka. So yeah, 2.5 months later, holds a press conference with no recording devices, no cameras. Honestly, it's one of the dumbest moves of a franchise ever. I mean, it's bad enough that you let go of Luka, but to hold a press conference with no recordings and is insane. So I gotta read you this quote that Nico Harrison said. So here he goes. He says, "There's no regrets on the trade. Part of my job is to do the best thing for the Mavericks, not only today but also in the future. And some of the decisions I'm going to make are going to be unpopular. That's my job, and I have to stand by it. Our philosophy going forward is defense wins championships, and we're built on defense. And this trade cements us for that." Wow. So Nico Harrison said, going forward, our philosophy is defense wins championships. Okay, that's fine. That's good and all. But let's look at the last time Luka played the Mavericks. Oh, yeah, Luka had 45 points, guys. 45 points. So defense may win championships at times, but there's not much defense going on with the Dallas Mavericks right now. I mean, Luka had 45 against them, guys. That is wild. So yeah, bad move by the Mavericks organization. Like I said, it's bad enough you already let go of Luka, and for that to come out is just awful. All right, let's see what else I got here for y'all. I took a lot of notes in preparation for this for y'all, so I got a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on, guys. We got playoffs, the transfer portal is going nuts. Yeah, let's touch on the transfer portal. So Kentucky now has 12 scholarship players. 12. So we have pretty much a complete team. Colin Chandler just announced today, matter of fact, that he's returning to Kentucky for his sophomore season. Brandon Garrison announced that he's coming back. We're still waiting to hear on Otega Owe, but we just received word the other day that Kentucky landed Croatian superstar Andrea Jelavic. Jelavic is 6'11", Croatian big man, averaged double figures this year, and shot 32% from three, with a pretty high volume of threes attempted this year. He's the second Croatian to play for Kentucky, right after Zvonimir Ivicic, who played for Kentucky and who's now playing for Coach Cal at Arkansas. So this addition of Jelavic, I'm going to have to get familiar with his name, is quite an unexpected, surprising addition for Mark Pope. Of course, no one's heard of this guy before, but now we all know about him. And I watched some of his tape, and he's got a nice game to him, a nice touch. He's 6'11", and he can shoot it. And I don't know a whole lot about him, but he's a cat, so it's exciting. But he adds another layer to our team that It's going to be exciting to watch. We have incoming freshmen Jasper Johnson, Malachi Marino. Marino was a McDonald's All-American last year. So we've got a nice little squad coming together. I touched briefly last episode about some of our transfer portal guys, so I won't mention them again. But we got 12 scholarship players, guys, and it, I feel like I'm excited. I get my hopes up every year for Kentucky because we just always seem to land great players, and we're still gonna land some more. The transfer portal is still going on; it's still open. Players, even to this day, are still announcing they're entering the transfer portal. So it's fun. It's exciting. In fact, um, Sam Houston transferred Lamar Wilkerson. Yep, Sam Houston, my former school where I went for my undergrad, my freshman year. He balled out for the Bearcats last year, and when he entered his name in the transfer portal, a lot of the high majors were after him, Kentucky being one of them. Well, Wilkerson narrowed his top two schools down to Indiana and Kentucky. And a lot of the college basketball insiders were predicting the signs were pointing in Kentucky's favor that Lamar Wilkerson was going to become the next Wildcat. Everyone was anticipating his announcement to join the Cats. However, Wilkerson decided to join the Indiana Hoosiers, where he's going to be getting paid more money, and he's likely going to be playing more minutes as well. And he said on a show that he appreciated the fact that Kentucky um, pursued him, and he was very flattered by that. However, he was aware of the high volume of guards that we have, and he just figured it was in his best interest to go to Indiana. So Kentucky's actually playing Indiana this year. They're developing a series where the two teams will be playing one another, which is great for college basketball. Kentucky and Indiana share a border, yet they haven't played in so long. So it's good to have that back in college basketball, Indiana and Kentucky. So we'll be seeing Lamar Wilkerson next year, and hopefully we'll beat him. But I'm still rooting for the guy because he did go to Sam Houston and he almost committed to Kentucky. But with that loss, opens up another door for more recruits. So Mark Pope is still actively in the transfer portal seeking new guys, new players. So we have 12 scholarship players now, which is pretty complete. I mean, you won about 10, 11, 12 guys. So we have 12. I feel pretty confident about our team. I would have felt very confident had we got Lamar Wilkerson. That would have kind of been the icing on the cake. But we have 12 right now, so maybe one or two more shooters, two more solid role players, and I'll be pretty content with where we are right now. So another story that I found interesting was Tennessee quarterback. Sorry, give me a moment. Tennessee quarterback Nico Lamleva. He has demanded $4 million in NIL money. $4 million, guys. So Tennessee dropped him. They said, "No way, bro. We're not paying you $4 million to play quarterback for us." I mean, that's a lot of money. And now that Tennessee dropped him, he's in the transfer portal. But other teams are hesitant to contact him because he's not willing to bring down, well, he wasn't willing to bring down his $4 million price. I mean, this guy wants $4 million for one season in college, which is crazy. Had he just stayed at Tennessee and had a decent year, a good year, he would have been a first round NFL draft pick. And he probably still is going to be a first round NFL draft pick. And then he would have had a lot of money and he wouldn't have had to worry about money for the rest of his life, probably, had he just stayed at Tennessee. So someone in his camp and his family gave him some very bad advice. Probably, I don't know, but $4 million is crazy. Okay, so I put a lot of thought into this for y'all, and I'm excited to talk about it. So, one of my favorite players growing up in basketball was Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, he's the way he plays, the way he shoots is beautiful, and it really broke my heart when he decided to go to Golden State. That kind of, um, I was still a fan of him, of course, of his game, but I couldn't really root for him the same after that, particularly after losing. Um, after the Warriors had beat the Thunder, and he chose to team up with them. But I've been thinking about Kevin and his legacy and his career, and obviously the Suns missed the playoffs this year. So a lot of people have been speculating that the New York Knicks or the Boston Celtics would be an ideal landing place for Kevin this summer. I can see the Knicks argument, but I don't think Tom Thibodeau and Thibodeau's style of coaching, long hours, long practices, physical practices, almost kind of like a collegiate vibe, is really going to work with Kevin. Um, and I don't quite frankly see Kevin being a Celtic either, for that matter. So I was thinking, where could I see Kevin? Houston is in talks, trade rumors. Houston could be a potential destination spot for Kevin as well, but I think that's kind of a long shot. I think it's more likely Kevin joins the Knicks than the Rockets. But there's one team who I think would be a perfect fit for Kevin, and that team is out east, the Miami Heat. Now, the Miami Heat do very well with stars: LeBron, Bosh, Shaquille O'Neal, Dwayne Wade. Obviously, they all left there, but in the time being when they were in Miami, they went to a lot of championships and they won. So, in the past 20 years in the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat have been to 9 conference championships. In the last 6 years, the Miami Heat have been to 2 NBA finals. And this is with not overly empowering rosters. I mean, Jimmy Butler was their best player, and he took a team with not very with a not totally overwhelming roster to the finals. Now, this is due to the Heat's culture, their GM, their coach. I think it's the perfect scenario for Kevin Durant at this stage in his career to join the Heat. You have a Bam Adebayo who's there, who will be in charge of covering the best player on the other team. So that takes the pressure off Kevin. Bam is going to be on the best player of the opposing team. We saw that in the Olympics this past summer. Bam took the hardest guard. So you also get a coaching upgrade from Mike Budenholzer to Eric Spoelstra. And I just feel like Eric Spoelstra's ability to handle superstars like Kevin Durant's caliber just suits Kevin very well. There's no state income tax in Florida. You're in the Eastern Conference. Um, there's a lot of pros to Kevin Durant joining the Miami Heat, and I just think it's an ideal destination spot for Kevin. Of course, I would love to see him with the Rockets as well, but I really, really could see him in Miami. So, but I hope that comes to fruition. But yeah, guys. So the NBA playoffs are rolling right around. I'm gonna be doing a lot of shows on that for y'all. A lot of game recaps, game previews for y'all. I hope the Rockets make a run, but it's gonna be exciting. I can't wait for it, and I can't wait to break down the games for y'all and give y'all really good content. So this is my second episode, and I'm really enjoying it, and it's really fun to take time and to create really good content and notes for y'all. I love doing this, so I just can't wait to continue to do it and to keep working on my craft and working on my show. And I look forward to having people on, people that I admire, my friends, people in the industry. I already have a few people lined up that I'd like to get on here. So yeah, it's fun. So thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all enjoy the NBA playoffs, the first couple of games, and I'll be back in a few days with another show. Thank you, guys.